Let us start with a simple observation. Most people do not fail in English because they are stupid or because English is too hard. They fail because English never becomes a habit. It stays as a project, a phase. A "this year I will really study" promise that appears every January and disappears in February. If you look at your own history, you might recognize this pattern. You get excited. You download apps. You follow profiles. You buy a course. For a few days, maybe a few weeks, you practice a lot. Then life happens. You get busy. You get tired. You miss one day, then two, then a week. Suddenly, English is not part of your day anymore. It goes back to the later box. Later when I have more time. Later when my life is calmer. Later when I feel motivated again. And later never arrives. Today's video is a friendly but serious conversation about this. About how to make English not a phase but a habit. Not an occasional effort but part of who you are. Not something you constantly restart, but something that continues, even when your life is busy, even when you are tired, even when motivation goes up and down. We will talk about why habits matter more than motivation. What stops you from making English a habit? How to design a simple, realistic English routine that fits inside a real life, not a perfect one. And how to stay consistent without feeling like a machine. Let us begin with this. Habits build fluency. Think about any skill you respect. Playing an instrument, driving a car, cooking well, being strong. Nobody becomes good at any of these by doing a lot for 3 days and then stopping for 3 months. It is the small, repeated actions that change your brain, your body, your results. English is the same. Your brain needs frequent contact with the language to build connections, to recognize sounds, to understand patterns, to feel natural with new words. If you only touch English once a week, it is like going to the gym once a month. You can go, you can sweat, you can feel very proud for one day, but your muscles will not change. In language, your muscles are your brain connections. They grow with repetition, with exposure, with use. So, if you want English to feel natural, you must stop thinking only in terms of intense study and start thinking in terms of everyday contact. Now, if habits are so powerful, why is it so hard to make English a habit? There are a few reasons that appear again and again. The first one, you make English too heavy. Maybe you believe that for English to count, you need to study for 1 hour with books, notes, a perfect environment, and full concentration. So if you do not have that perfect hour, you do nothing. You think. Today, I only have 15 minutes. It is not worth it. This belief is a trap, because in adult life, an hour of perfect peace is rare. If your English depends on perfect conditions, it will never be consistent. The second reason, you connect English with pressure, not with curiosity. Maybe your relationship with English is full of, I must, I should, I have to, I must not make mistakes, I have to speak perfectly, I should already be fluent. This creates anxiety. And your brain does not like to repeat activities that always feel like pressure and shame. So every time you think about English, you feel a little tension in your body. Of course you avoid it. The third reason, you do not see clear progress, so you lose hope. You start, you practice a bit, but you do not feel dramatic improvement. You still hesitate when you speak. You still forget words. You still cannot understand everything. Then you think, maybe I am not good at this. Maybe this is not for me. So you stop. You are not alone. This is how a lot of people feel. The problem is not your brain. It is your strategy. Now let us shift from problem to solution. How do you make English a habit inside a real life? Let us build it step by step. First idea, shrink the habit. Instead of starting with, I will study English 1 hour every day, start with, I will have contact with English every day, even if it is small. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10. On some days, maybe 5. The key word is every day. Every day does not mean you become crazy or obsessed. It means you promise yourself you will not have long periods of zero contact. Even on chaotic days, you can do something tiny to keep the connection alive. Listen to 2 minutes of audio. Read one short paragraph. Speak to yourself for 1 minute about your day. Tiny is still powerful when it is consistent. Your brain does not need perfect lessons. It needs frequent English. Second idea. Attach English to something that already exists in your day. This is one of the best ways to build any habit. Look at your routine and ask, what are things I do almost every day without fail? Maybe brushing your teeth, drinking coffee, taking the bus, washing dishes, walking somewhere. You can connect English to these moments. For example, every morning while you drink your coffee, you listen to an English podcast for 10 minutes. Every time you wash the dishes, you play a short video or audio in English. Every day on the bus, you read a short text or write a few sentences in English on your phone. You are not trying to find time. You are using time that already exists. Third idea. Mix active practice and passive exposure. Active practice is when you use your brain to produce or respond. Speaking, writing, doing exercises, repeating sentences aloud. Passive exposure is when you receive English without pressure to respond. Listening to podcasts while you walk, watching videos with or without subtitles, reading posts or short articles. You need both. If you only consume passively, your brain gets comfortable but your mouth stays frozen. If you only do heavy active study, you get tired and you stop. A good habit has a balance. On some days, you do more active work. On busy days, you at least keep light exposure. Fourth idea, make repetition a friend, not an enemy. A lot of students get bored quickly. They want new content every day, new video, new book, new influencer, new method. But your brain learns deeply with repetition. Watching the same video several times. Listening to the same audio until it feels familiar. Reviewing the same phrases until they feel natural in your mouth. Repetition is not a sign of slowness. It is a sign of seriousness. Imagine a musician playing the same song hundreds of times. They are not behind. They are getting better. You can choose a small set of materials for a period. Maybe one podcast, one YouTube channel, one short book or blog. Stay with them for some weeks. Revisit, review, repeat. Your brain will thank you. Fifth idea. Turn mistakes into proof that your habit is working. If you never make mistakes, it means you are not using English enough. You are hiding in silence. When you make mistakes, it means you are opening your mouth. You are writing. You are trying. And that is exactly what a habit needs. So instead of thinking, I made a mistake, I am terrible, you can think, I made a mistake, so I am practicing. Good, I will keep going. Now let us design a simple weekly structure you can adapt. This is just an example. You can adjust to your level and your reality. Imagine you want around 20 to 30 minutes of English on most days. Day 1. Listening day. You choose a short podcast or video in English. You listen once just to get the general idea. Then you listen again more slowly, trying to catch specific words and phrases. If you want, you write down 3 new expressions that you liked. Day 2. Speaking day. You take the same topic or vocabulary from day 1 and you speak about it for 10 minutes. You can talk to yourself in front of a mirror or record audio on your phone. You do not worry about being perfect. You focus on expressing yourself. Day 3. Reading day. You read a short text or a few paragraphs about something you enjoy. Maybe technology, travel, psychology, sports. You underline words you do not know, but you do not stop to translate everything. You try to understand from context. Then you choose a few important words to look up and maybe write a simple sentence with them. Day 4. Writing day. You write about your day, your thoughts, or the topic you read about. It can be 10 lines. It can be 1 paragraph. The goal is not to impress anyone. It is to move your brain from passive understanding to active creation. Day 5. Review day. You go back to what you listened to, read, and wrote during the week. You repeat aloud some phrases. You listen again to parts of the audio. You correct a few of your own sentences if you see obvious mistakes. Day 6 and 7. Light exposure. On the weekend, you can relax the structure, but you still keep some contact. Watch a movie or series in English. Listen to music and read the lyrics if possible without singing them here. Scroll social media in English for a while. The idea is to keep English alive in your environment, even when you rest. Now, a very important part. How do you stay consistent when motivation disappears? Because it will. Some days you will feel excited. Other days, you will feel nothing. This is normal. Motivation is like the weather. It changes. Your habit needs to be like a building. Stable, even when the weather is bad. Here are some tools to stay consistent. First, lower the bar on difficult days. Instead of breaking the habit, you reduce the effort. You tell yourself, today is heavy. I will do 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Often, once you start, you will do more. But even if you stop after 5 minutes, you kept the chain. Second, track your days. You can use a simple calendar or a habit app. Every day you touch English, you mark it. You do not mark time or quality. Only. Did I do something today? When you see a line of days with marks, you will feel a quiet satisfaction. You will not want to break the line. Third, connect English with your future identity. Instead of thinking, I am learning English, start thinking, I am becoming a person who lives part of life in English. When you skip too many days, you are not just missing practice. You are voting against that identity. When you show up for your habit, even for 10 minutes, you are voting for the future you that speaks, understands, and lives more freely because of English. Finally, remember this. You will not feel progress every day. Some days will feel slow. Some days you will feel like you are going backwards. But if English is truly a habit, those days do not matter much. Because the real magic is not in 1 day. It is in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. If you keep touching English, even imperfectly, your brain cannot stay the same. You will start to recognize more. You will start to speak more. You will start to think in English in small moments. And one day, you will notice that you just had a whole conversation, or watched a video, or read a page without suffering. And you will realize it did not come from one magical course or one perfect week. It came from the quiet decision to make English your habit, not your obsession, not your nightmare, just a natural part of your everyday life. So as you finish this video, you do not need to promise yourself a revolution. You only need to answer. What is the smallest English habit I am willing to repeat almost every day for the next 3 months? Choose something small enough that you cannot honestly say, I do not have time. Then begin. Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Make English your habit and let time do the heavy work for you. Thank you for watching.